welcome back to the more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day, and this thought is all about our Brazilian superstar. No, not the one who cost 40 million, the one who cost just slightly less than that, I think. And that is Bruno Guimaraes. Yes, the news has been announced. It was doing the rounds that Bruno Guimaraes does have a release clause of 100 million. Eddie Howe has confirmed it in the press conference today, but apparently it has a very short expiration date from May till the end of June, I believe it is. So that's enough time for people to either put up or shut up in terms of buying our Brazilian maestro. So the release clause is 100 million. I think it's a really smart move by the club. It's in that kind of window of the FFP PSR deadline. So if somebody wants to buy the player, they've got to front up the cash and they've got to put the money where their mouth is. So this is a real interesting take on this one, because some people are going one way or the other. Now, the southern-based media who are desperate to shift Bruno Guimaraes off to PSG, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, you name it. They want him to go anywhere but Newcastle United. They are desperate for this player to be sold and to go. And 100 million quid, I just saw a video with Craig Hope there. Love what Craig Hope does. If you're watching, Craig, we'd love you to come on the channel one time, mate. I know you do other podcasts, but, you know, the invitation is there, mate. But going back to Bruno Guimaraes, 100 million pounds for Bruno. Is it fair value? You know, we bought him for, what, just under 40? So you'd probably say, in the current market, you look at people like Enzo Fernandez and Declan Rice, you'd probably say he is worth 100 million quid. But, you know, Bruno, what he's brought to the team isn't just what he's done on the pitch. It's his character, it's everything else. You know, he's a fantastic player and a fantastic character and probably a future captain as well. So, I mean, I hope that we don't sell him. But just putting this into perspective a little bit, and probably similar to what Craig was saying in his video as well, that when you have offers for players like that, certainly in this world that we're living in now, where everything's financially driven, you have to consider it, because it's all about reinvestment. Now, I go back to Spurs and Gareth Bale in particular. Now, Gareth Bale at that point was one of the best players on the planet. He was unbelievable, untouchable in the Premier League, couldn't get near him. Real Madrid came in from, for I think it was 80 million quid, I think it was. Money that they could not turn down, Spurs, and they didn't invest it particularly well, but they bought about 6 or 7 players with it and obviously balanced their books out there. And a similar thing could happen with Bruno Guimaraes there. You've got 100 million quid coming in. Could that buy you another centre forward? Could that buy you a couple of really good centre halves and balance your books out, you know, and split the money up over the years like you do in the process? You know, that could be something that the club has to consider. Now, if you look at the 2 star players in this team, now I'm not including Botman because he's injured, but Botman is definitely one of those players. But the main 2 stars in this team right now are Bruno Guimaraes and Alexander Isak. Could you replace Alexander Isak if you sold him? No, I don't think you could. Not for anything less than about 150 million, unless you manage to get Kylian Mbappe away from Real Madrid on a free and pay him 2 million quid a week, but that would bust your club anyway, so I don't think that's going to happen. So out of those 2 players, the one player we could probably live without, out of those 2, I must say, is Bruno Guimaraes. Now, you might scream at this video right now and tell me I'm an idiot and all that kind of stuff, but just hear me out for a second. So when you look at that midfield, Joelinton signed on the dotted line a new contract, so we've got Joelinton probably for the next 4 or 5 years. Yes, he's a different player to Bruno, but he's essential at that midfield. We've still got Sandro Tonali to come back from this 10-month suspension, you know, who's very good on the ball, can defend, can attack, can take, you know, set pieces, and you know, is a very young player as well. Also this season we've seen Louis Mine and Ali Anderson really kick on in terms of their development as players. You know, Joe Willock's obviously been injured this season, but if you get him back fit and firing, that's another real angle as well. So when you look at the midfielders there, you know, I'm not counting Sean in that, because I'm not too sure about Sean's future in the summer, I must admit. But looking at those midfielders there, and then Bruno's there as well. Yes, Bruno's the main man at the minute, but if you were to sell him and get 100 million quid in, even if you didn't buy any more midfielders in, providing they all stayed fit and were on form, would probably be all right, I think, with that midfield squad. It's up front is the problem with Isak. If we sell Isak, we're in big trouble, because Wilson's going to go in the summer. If we sold Isak, who the hell we're going to bring in? So for me, I can understand why they didn't say in the offer, like Spurs did before with Bale, like Liverpool did with Coutinho and Suarez. You know, sometimes a club comes in, the player wants to go, and that's the main important thing here. Does the player want to go? And I'm not sure that he does want to go. I mean, we saw the news recently about the new £4 million house in Darras Hall. We all became amateur estate agents and jumped and whooped and hollered. And I don't think Bruno would put down roots with his family if he was thinking about going in the summer. This 100 million quid clause, I believe, is to get rid of the tyre kickers, the people who just want to spread the rumours and stories about, you know, him being unsettled or unsettling the player himself. We've seen this happen, you know, years and years when Chelsea had the money, City had the money. Players get unsettled, rumours go out there, agents leak things, because let's be honest with you, agents are shitbags. They just want their 10 or 20% of whatever the transfer fee is, and Bruno's agent ain't no different. You know, so he'll be wanting his payday. to get Bruno away from Newcastle to PSG or Man City for a massive whopping commission. You know, so let's not make any mistake about that. But does the player want to stay? Is his family settled here? You know, you see him, he loves it. His dad's a local celebrity. You know, he's had 2 sons. Obviously at Newcastle as well. They're Geordie's, Joe Linton's little lads are Geordie. Joe Linton, his best mate, his brother, has signed a new contract. So that tells me I think we'll have Bruno for at least another year. Now, next season is huge for this football club. To keep players like Alexander Isak and Bruno Guimaraes, I think we'll get 1 more year out of the pair of them. And I think if we do not get Champions League next season, then we could be in real trouble the summer after with these guys maybe looking to move on to the likes of City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, those types of clubs, PSG. You know, that is going to be a real issue for us, but we're going to have to fight tooth and nail to keep Bruno and Isak this summer. But it's all very important about who we bring in with the money that we have available. Don't forget, we've got the seller sponsorship money, we've got the Adidas money coming in. So we have got money in the club coffers to spend on players. We didn't buy anybody in January, so we've missed a window there completely. So we do have money to spend. I think we'll see sales, the likes of Miggy Almiron, Callum Wilson. You know, that could be maybe 40 million, 30 million between them, possibly Sean, another 15 million. So they could be bringing in 50 million back in the coffers there and split it over amortization over years. So the club will have plans to grow and to bring in players in the summer. We've still got Tonali come back, who's a £50 million player. Barnes has been injured most of this season. He's got to get fit and have a full season. So I think it's positive for next season, but I do think that Bruno Guimaraes will stay. I don't think anyone will front up the 100 million quid. I'll be quite surprised if they do. Certainly with FFP looking for everybody. You know, even for City, you know, they've got 115 charges hanging over their head. Chelsea have got loads of charges hanging over their head. Barcelona and Real Madrid are fucking skint. They all seem to find money from somewhere, but they're going to have to sell to buy. And I can't see Barcelona wanting to part with people like Pedri or Gavi, you know, to make room for Bruno Guimaraes. I really can't see it. Likes of Rafinha and people like that probably aren't going to fetch as much money as they would need to raise the capital to buy Bruno Guimaraes for 100 million outright, unless they entertain a, you know, a player plus cash deal that could maybe sneak through the line. But I just think this is a good idea by the club to stop the tyre kickers, stop the unsettling of the player. If no one's going to front up and put the money up by the end of June, it's job done, gone. You ain't buying him. The release clause has expired, and he's a Newcastle player for next season. But let us know in the comments below what you think about the release clause. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it encourages clubs to come in and buy Bruno? Do you think it's going to be an unsettling summer for us? And would you sell him if the 100 million come in and reinvest it in the squad? Let us know. We always like to hear from you. Smash that subscribe if you haven't already. Help get us to 7,500. Like the video. Help the channel grow. We'll catch you for some more content soon. See you later, everyone.